Hey guys, welcome back to another bat wrap from our 30k campaign on the weekend. We've got Samuel Burke here again with his Admech and Militia armor. How you going, Sam?
Oh, pretty good, Isaac. Pretty good.
It's good.
About to run through another lovely game with the artillery spam militia and mech list.
We'll go straight into it, I think.
Love your intro, Isaac.
All right. One thing I learnt is that writing comes up very small. So I basically brought 2,500 points of Alpha Legion with not Alfarius. That's actually Omegon with a bodyguard unit of Cataphracti Terminators, 3 units attacks in Rhinos, and I've got the Suzerains there with Coils of the Hydra, riding in Land Raiders, and 2 Fire Raptors.
And here we've got a terrible voiceover for my militia list. It's similar. Some people may have seen this before. We've got an Archmagos Reductor with Paragon Blade, Mastercrafted Power Fist, Machinator Array, Abeyant, 3-up Invo, Dijin Skeen, Rad Grenades, 3 Cyber Oculari, just a whole bunch of upgrades. He's going to be babysitting a 20-man Thrall unit with pretty much every upgrade but frag grenades. 2 3-man Phalanx squads with chain blades on everyone. Mostly just deep strike on objectives. 2 missile tarantulas. This is my only anti-air. 2 Krios Venators for anti-tank duty. The pride and joy of the list. 2 units of 2 AV-13 Power of the Machine Spirit Medusas, supported by 3 stationary basilisks, a planetary commander who confers toughness 4 to all of the red militia dudes, and 6-up invos for everyone or better. So shooting at those siege guns, my worthless peons will have a 6-up invo. And they're supported by the 2 17-man blobs of grenadiers that we're about to go to. And these just have carapace armor, frag and crack grenades, range 18, assault 1, strength 4 guns, and they've been joined by 2 medics each. And the medics have stubborn and confer 5+ feel no pain to the unit. Everyone is toughness 4, everyone has a 6-up invo. So they're pretty hard to shift and great for just sitting on objectives.
What's your what's the theme behind your army, Sam?
Basically, it's a Magos Reductor who going a little bit stir crazy, and he's gone out on his own. At this part of the campaign, he has just been sending his worthless peons to go and achieve various objectives. But he's taken to the field and he's brought out all of his big guns. When he's at home, he builds bigger guns, and as some of you may have seen, I have a few pretty interesting conversions on there.
Yeah, so I think that's nice, mate. It's really nice looking army. It was really fun to play against, actually. So I think from our perspective, working out the deployments and making sure we understood the missions, basically putting objectives in 2 of the buildings. And the mission we were running gave 3 victory points at the end of the game for holding the objective in the building, and then if you had more buildings than the opponent, you earned an additional victory point.
That's correct. I think I'm going to start marking which buildings we're going to count for that. Yep. Because there's a few clusters of little buildings and obviously the really big ones in the center. we've added the big ones here to break up the battlefield a bit more, rather than the more open field that we had the last time Nathan and I played on this table.
I think too, with my deployment, just trying to work it out. This is one of the good things about playing a new army and not being sure about the rules, even though we sort of discussed it at the start, whether I should use infiltrate or tank hunters. And I just felt like when my guys got out, I didn't quite have enough, apart from the Suzerains and I guess the Cataphractii Terminators with Alfarius. But my tacticals were pretty just naked, basically. I didn't even have Power Fist or anything on them. One of the challenges with the Coils of the Hydra is you're needing to take 3 compulsory troops. And I think having to have that extra unit is something that I sort of need to factor in the future, I think, when running this sort of elite sort of strike force.
On the bright side, you did have a massive blob of Alpha Legion Suzerains.
Yeah. They didn't do much, but they did get out. I think with my deployment, I got scared off by the hill. I should have just chucked the Land Raiders up there and gone for it, regardless of getting immobilized.
Yeah, but I suppose that's the thing. You don't want to end up with your Land Raiders sitting there doing nothing for the rest of the game. And it was pretty interesting the way you did deploy, because if I'd seized it, I don't think it would have been a very it wouldn't have been pretty.
And that's the beauty of having Alfarius there. You got a little bit extra benefit. It's not like you get a full reroll like you do when you have Dynat though, but yeah, I think I ended up loading all down the one flank because I just thought if I could just get in the flank and just push up the board, then I was hoping that I would have enough compulsory units to grab the 2 buildings, and if I could take out your troops, then yeah, that would have been a challenge. I just noticed in the video a blast marker got exchanged down in the right hand corner there. You were looking for your blast marker at the end of the day. We'll have to review the footage.
I think we will.
I'm pretty sure it ended up in my green basket anyway.
Yeah.
So this is
with this, it's so much easier when I do have both the orange and the green one. Makes it easier to plot out where everything is going.
Yeah. I think we're talking about it here now because I had a 24-inch deployment, whereas you only had the 12, and was sort of contemplating where that would sort of fit.
I think the danger here is that if you had spread it out like this, with just units all along that line, I could have just clustered in one side.
Yeah.
And just focused you down and left off the board the other half of your army to cross.
Well, I think I was almost trying to like goat you into having to line up more down this end.
That doesn't really work when almost my entire army is long-range barrage weapons.
Yeah. I think that factoring in, relying on a large scatter doesn't always work. But as I started setting up, I felt like I was doing like an ambush sort of army maneuver of the streets of Baghdad, where you have the long line of army trucks cruising around the streets together.
And then suddenly there's a militia firing RPGs at you.
Yes. Instead of RPGs, they're massive blasts with barrages.
Shells designed to take down fortresses
Yeah.
being launched at rhinos. It was a good day.
I think that deployment, though, in the corner, it made you have to really think about where you were going to put your guys. And because they're your two that have the interceptor.
Mm.
And then I think you move them onto the hill instead.
I think I'd sort of... I readjusted nothing. I'm as bad as Nathan Carson. I think my biggest concern here is there was going to be 2 flyers, and I really don't have enough tools to deal with flyers in this list. So I was more focusing on making sure that your first turn was going to be as ineffective as possible.
Yeah.
And I think, again, I'm abusing the auto reductors move through cover rules here to sit my vehicles on ruins.
I guess when you're not moving them, you don't have to worry about immobilized.
Oh, but that's the beauty. I could drive up those giant concrete buildings if I so liked.
Yeah. I think the other thing with the fire raptors is the fact that they can almost come on anywhere. And you know, I tend to like to fly them on, do a bit of damage, and then sort of hover and be annoying. Although we didn't quite get to that stage of the game.
Can you take fire raptors as a dedicated transport at all, or does it have to be the fast attack?
No, they're... I have to check. I don't think they have any transport capacity, the fire raptors. That's what you give up to take the...
I'm thinking of the Storm Eagle, yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, I'm shocked reading up on the Storm Eagle that it has a capacity of 20. That sort of really surprised me. It's not something that I'd thought about before.
Yeah, it's got almost as many guns as the Fire Raptor. And
well, the same.
You can fit.
Yeah, same as the same transport capacity as a Spartan or a Kybris. So, well, those Spartans 25, isn't it?
I'm not sure. I have one somewhere, but I never get to use it.
You wouldn't be an Iron Warriors player without a Spartan, would you?
I've got some armored units, yes. For those new, I do also have a reasonably large Iron Warriors army that's not seeing as much play as it used to now that I've gone back to Mechanicum.
Well, there's a high demand for Admech armies at the moment with the latest release of that Forgebane, I think.
Next thing you know, everyone will turn up with some drop lights.
Yeah, I think a lot of people talk about getting it, but I don't know if many people really get it in the end when those new box sets come out. I think this one's going to be a bit different, though. I think there seems to be a lot of people trying to sell off Necrons, which is quite surprising.
Is it? Like, the Admech side is the one coming with the shiny new robots. And they make great allied units for pretty much any any Imperial army.
Did Necrons just get a Codex too, though?
They're about to.
Oh, they're about to, yeah.
So I think that's actually out tomorrow.
Oh, is it tomorrow? So many GW releases. How do you keep track of it all?
well, they're trying to launch 6 codexes in the next couple of months, so gets a bit busy.
So how many renegades are you deploying here? Are they renegades, those ones?
So right now I'm deploying a 20-man unit of thralls, which are fearless, toughness 3, 4+ saves, 5+ feel no pain, and have assault 2 guns. I think I have already deployed the 2 19-man model units of militia, which are toughness 4, 4+ save, 6 up invo, 5 up feel no pain. But they're only stubborn leadership 8, not fearless.
I'm not sure. I've only played Admech a couple of times, so I'm not sure what's the right way to really deal with those militia. Are you like, should you just shoot them off, or should you be trying to charge into them, being a Space Marine player?
Look, your Space Marine is going to be better than your average militia and can beat them in combat. But if I'm outnumbering you 2 to 1, my money's probably on the militia squad over the tack squad, especially with the saves that the militia have. If you've got a big, scary combat unit like the Caesarians or your Terminators there, it's going to eat whatever militia unit it touches. Just the amount of wounds you're going to do, you're going to run me down when I inevitably fail the leadership test.
Yeah.
Or in the case of that big blob of thralls, you'll just murder all but one.
I think you're going to deploy a big unit here.
I think I did stick. Yeah, I'm going to stick a big unit there to try and protect the Magos and his one of his pairs of Medusas.
And the Caesarians thought, "We'll have you. Thanks for coming." It was like the spider. Welcome to my.
Ha ha ha! You fell for my trap card, etc.
Yeah, yeah. What's that saying? Welcome to my web, said the spider to the fly. I like a heavily terrained table too. It's quite good. That's me starting to beat the fist, saying, "Come on, let's get it on." It's easy to deploy.
That's the problem.
Yeah,
it's easy to deploy when you've got 6 big vehicles and nothing else. I just need to put 70 models down on the table. Give me a break.
5 vehicles done.
No, actually, I've got more than 70 because I've got all the siege guns as well. So there's like 86 or 87 models in that list.
So what's the intention here with you're setting up your 2 lines of troops? Is it just more as a breaker than anything else, or do you expect them to like actually do something specifically, or?
So they're going to push forward for those objectives. If they get hit with a unit before that, that's all well and good. I'm fairly confident that I will either die in the first round or hold you there. Now, that particular unit of thralls there held up Russ and 3 Vanguard Terminators for 3 rounds of combat. So I've seen it survive. I was a little surprised just how brutal Omegon and his Terminator bodyguard were. Very, very killy.
Yeah.
And shooting into the unit before you charge meant there was a reduced numbers to begin with.
I always normally take the Tartarus Terminators as bodyguard just for that sweeping. But I don't know. I decided to use the Cataphracti in this last time.
And I think that was the right choice because the sweeping, like it does come into it at the end, and in the very last round.
Yeah.
But sweeping for this list is probably not going to happen all too often. I think more likely you're just going to get stuck in combat for long periods of time.
So we've got a double zoom around there, marking the buildings. I'll just show which one's up for scoring. I really like that, using the cards. It's quite a cool way to do it.
They're very, very nice. I don't regret buying them, but I do struggle to find a way to shoehorn them into my games.
Yeah,
and objective markers are probably the best thing to use them for.
Have you seen those cards that Andrew Hollis at Tagged Events has done? He's done, I think he's done some 30k Legion cards or something. I was going to chase that up.
No, I don't think I have. I'll have to look into it. I know he's done a lot of stuff up recently, which every time I see something that he puts up, it's very, very cool.
Yeah, I was chatting to someone. I'm sure he said he's done up some sort of like tactical cards or something. I might shoot him a message and check, because I think that'd be good, like just to add a little bit of flavour to the events and missions. Good sportsmanship. We've done the deployment.
And now I think I'm going to roll the seas and fail miserably.
Yes. Yeah, I would have been in trouble. Yeah, I would have been in trouble if you did seize the initiative. So straight into it, moving up the land raiders, down the flank, making sure we're not stealing extra distance. I thought getting out was going to be the right thing to do right at the start of the game and just get them into combat, and the goal was actually to try and make them sort of bunny hop along the back.
And it's a very effective idea. The problem is I really badly failed my leadership role here, and the squad got cut down and murdered.
And I think it's hard when you get there, because you're like, I want to get into combat with this, but I've paid 150 points for the pistol upgrades to plasma. So wanting to shoot them before you charge. I can't
believe you spent 150 points on plasma guns. Sorry, plasma pistols. Plasma pistols.
Well, it effectively meant my tacticals were just naked. I didn't even have a power weapon on my sergeants at all. It's the first time I've used the Suzerain. It's actually second game, because I used him in the game with Jono as well. But yeah, I think it's overkill if you want to use them for assault. So I think we're just trying to line it up. I think I might have bumped the building a bit there. And then getting out 6 inches, of course, and preparing for the charge. Now, I was worried about charging your guys there, because I've played them before and their Overwatch has been mental, but that's only if you take an extra ability or something, right?
No, so I'd taken an ability to make them fearless, so that I could just leave them wherever they were and not have to shepherd them around with the Magos. The problem with that is it also means they can't Overwatch.
Yeah, and this is part of the learning, isn't it? You know, just understanding how some of the rules are a little bit different with the Admech.
Yeah. In hindsight, probably would have been more beneficial to me not being fearless and having the ability to fire 40 shots at you. But here we are.
But I mean, Omegon is just devastating in combat, or is it Alfarius?
He's a very potent force multiplier too.
Yes. So here, just sort of, I was thinking, my rhinos are going to get blown up. So I started thinking I should take the tacticals out before they all get blown up. And so these guys get just into the building. And I sort of probably had underestimated the scatter on the blast markers with barrage as well.
Normally it's not too bad. Normally I can position myself so I'm drawing line of sight. But with this and the way you positioned everything and the fact that most of your rhinos are now empty, so there's no point me targeting them, yeah, it got a bit interesting.
One of the challenges too, when I've never quite got the hang of rhinos and how to use them, but you lose the shooting too if you leave them in too long. So I always think of that, like especially at close range, you get the rapid fire as well, and rapid fire surprisingly can really make a big difference to a unit when you're trying to, like, you know, pick off a few wounds prior to combat. The big problem here, I probably chewed off too many wounds in that that squad of yours, and then they had to make a leadership role, didn't they?
Yeah, so that's what's going to happen here. Is I'm going to start running away from your shooting hits, and yeah, that's something that doesn't often happen, but it's something that can pretty much happen to every unit in 30k, because not a lot of things have fearless, and nothing has then they shall know no fear.
So the bottom unit in the corner there, so they couldn't have overwatched as well, is that right?
No, so only the middle unit could not overwatch, but the middle unit was fearless. The other units are just leadership 8 all the time, regardless of casualties.
Yeah, because I've played a mech game once before and lost a whole unit of Gal fallback to Overwatch to them, so I'm always a bit skeptical.
What's this is Omegon and the Terminators kicking off the thralls.
Yeah, doing their bolters and his plasma blaster. Which is kind of cool. Yeah, basically, like obviously the whole twin Primarch thing, but my army's based around Omegon's efforts, which is like an elite strike force. I'm looking at probably repainting the Land Raiders a bit darker, like the Fire Raptors as well, to sort of synchronize that army in a bit. Using those new, have you seen those new SOS? I think they're called SOS paints.
No, I haven't.
So there's a range of paints that have come out. So there's similar sort of paints to the Tamiya, but when you paint it fully black, the darker the better, and then you lightly coat these colors over them, and there's a few different color ranges that you can get, but they're like translucent, so they turn the black into looking multiple colors. So you
have like a two-tone effect.
Yeah, you can. Yeah, so depending on the light, how you're looking at them, they look a bit unusual. But with the Alpha Legion in particular, I really like the emerald version of it, which sort of makes it turn a little bit green. Quite cool.
And I think, am I about to be plasma pistoled now? Is that what's about to happen?
Yeah, I think at first, because half my unit can see you for the bolter rapid fire, and then the plasma pistol just takes it down. And then I started thinking, oh dear, I've increased my charge distance here, but that doesn't matter.
Sadly, no. And then there's just a 15-man board sitting there, very neatly packed together.
And you rolled a 4 when they run away. I remember that, because it's like, oh, and you know, once one flees off, the whole unit's flees and is destroyed, isn't it?
And with my models basically touching the back line.
Yeah. I think this
is
if me.
I ran, I was running.
Yeah, just touching the back line there. This is you realizing that I've spent 150 points on plasma pistols.
It shocks me. It shocks me now, Isaac. It still blows my mind that you gave nothing to your 3 tactical squads, but could spend 150 points on plasma pistols.
And this is it. They're already expensive too.
They're already very expensive. And then you took 15 of them and stuck them in a Land Raider of some variety.
10, but yeah. Yeah. I think that whole unit was 665 or something. And I even had to leave a melter off the Land Raider. A melter would have been really useful in about 1 or 2 turns.
A melter on one of your AV-14 machines would have been very, very useful. Yeah. Probably more useful than 150 points of 10 plasma pistols.
Yeah, it really puts it in perspective.
Hell, you could have put melter guns on all of the rhinos as well.
Power fists
and
on all
hell,
the sergeants.
Put melter bombs on all the sergeants. You could probably fit a melter gun in the tactical squad, or a combi melter even.
Yeah, the sergeant could have taken one. I think there's a few people quite interested in this game, though. It's always interesting seeing people playing against the Mechanicum. Everyone wants the Mechanicum to die. It doesn't happen often. It's like everyone's got a Mechanicum burn experience where they've been burnt by the Mechanicum.
Well, I think the only thing that people hate more than Mechanicum is Thousand Suns, possibly Space Wolves, and obviously Custodian.
Yeah, the Space Wolves.
And especially a list like this where
yeah, Space Wolves have got they've got an insane 24-inch charge range or something now, because they can run and charge.
Because they can run and charge, yeah. The amount of special rules that Grey Hunters get is atrocious, really. They're easily the best troop choice in 30k at the moment.
Yeah, it is, isn't it? It's a 24-inch threat range, basically. Max, like if you roll it for the run. Do they have fleet as well? I think they have fleet as well, don't they?
I'm not sure really, but I have seen Space Wolves with it.
Yeah. So I think
we're just waiting for the shooting phase to end. Yeah. Seeing if there's anything else to do.
Yeah, just ticking everything off. Everything shot.
I'm still blown away by 10 plasma pistols. Zach.
Well, the funny thing is with them as well, I'd taken the Primus Medicae and was thinking, oh, if I need to, I can jump him in with the Caesarians. But there's no room to fit in a Land Raider. And if the Land Raider moves fast, you can't like sort of run along behind it. It's a pretty easy thing to pick off, I think.
I think the Primus Medicae attached to our Omegon is a better choice.
Yeah.
Especially with what's about to happen to the Caesarians.
Yeah. And I think it was interesting because we rechecked the rules on this, like when you can choose to expose him and he can replace a model in a unit. And that's expensive. Like if you're taking like a unit of Terminators, and that's the 4-inch run off the table. And then I realized, oh crap, my Caesarians are...
So on the bright side, you're happy you did kill a unit in your turn 1. But it's also meant that your Caesarians are now holding their shields, bracing for a pair of Medusas.
So they were fearless, and I think you rolled a 10, didn't you, on the leadership? Is that right?
And then they were only leadership 8.
8, yeah.
They didn't have any in there.
But the Magos, he doesn't bestow his leadership on them if they're within 6 inches or anything like that?
No, but he does. If he joins the unit, they'd be fearless.
Oh, yeah. I think, yeah, a 3-inch charge just gets us in there.
And then this 20-man blob, of which you've whittled down 4 or 5 with your shooting, is going to get down to 1 model. It's just...
And you didn't have anything that you could challenge anyway there, did you?
No, it was complete. No characters in that one at all, just regular peons.
So we're working out, I think Omegon has 6 attacks on the charge.
And he's very killy with him. The instant death is pretty brutal.
Yeah, I'd never really realised how good that is. And because of his trait as well, it gives hatred to everything. So it's not just, versus loyalists or whatever. That made a big difference in the game. I think it is literally remove 5 models, please. And then your dude's got to attack back before the Cataphracti, but from the shooting and that combat, there wasn't a lot left.
I think I had 7 or 8 left, if that, which is not going to do much to a blob full of Terminators with Feel No Pain.
And you're sitting here thinking, that's okay, this unit's going to die, and I'm going to get to shoot you. And then I think I failed one of the re-rolls on the hits. And you were like, damn it!
I think this might be me realizing that you have left 1 model in that thrall blob. We seem to have cut ahead.
Yeah, I think that's skipped ahead. So we had a round of shooting there from your guys that killed most of the...
We've cut my entire turn 1 and your movement for turn 2.
Yeah.
So the Medusas were round the corner and nuked the Caesarians. The other Medusas and the Basilisks fired into the Land Raider that's in the center of the board now, and actually scattered into Alfarius, killing one of the thralls, and I think I killed a few of the Terminators as well.
Yeah.
and otherwise it was relatively uneventful on my side.
And the Primus Medicae as well.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, but Alpharis wrecks these. They're Krios, aren't they?
Yeah, Alfarius, because I'd moved them around to try and gun down Alfarius, failed miserably, and then he just jumped on them and speared them. So that's one of them getting wrecked now. And I think your buddies in Terminator armor are about to finish the job there.
Yeah. I think I had a Chain Fist and a Power Fist left with them at that stage. I was feeling good at this stage. I thought, okay, I'm going to be able to grab these 2 buildings, and then I just need to finish off his last unit of tacticals, and I can sort of sweep through. But
I think we've also missed the Magos Reductor, who was standing next to that Land Raider and was gunned down by much Fire Raptor shots.
Yes. Yes. I was very disappointed with him and his destroying my Caesarians, and because he made the charge into combat and then he just swiped them.
Instant killed 3 or 4 of them.
Yeah.
It's to strength 6 and neg 1 toughness, and AP 2 at initiative 4. It's pretty effective against Marines.
And then I think we worked out they're 2+ save normally, and then they have boarding shields, so it gives them a 5+ invulnerable. But that just didn't help, unfortunately.
Well, it's 6 strength 6 attacks. It can that I think I was hitting on 4s, and I rolled pretty well.
Yeah. This is
and right now this
Thallax.
is so I'm deep striking in my Thallax on the buildings there, ready to go down and start clearing out the tactical squads with inside.
And they're the game winners in the end, aren't they? The deep striking Thallax.
Yeah, because you're so focused on all my artillery, you can't really deal with them. And I think when we did call it on turn 4, they were just going to go in and murder the remaining tac squad.
Yeah, I had a tactical in both the primary objective buildings, and maybe I ignored the Thallax too much with the Fire Raptors. But I sort of, when I thought about it later, I wish I'd moved the Fire Raptors straight forward and hovered, and then maybe started trying to pick off some of your artillery around the back of that building, past the Land Raider there.
Yeah.
But you were just popping vehicles left, right, and center.
And that's the thing. Strength 9 and 10 with ordnance can be very effective against vehicles, especially if I'm rolling well. Unfortunately, I wasn't that lucky in the first turn. I'm getting my own back here.
Yeah, peeling off hull points, yeah. There's the orange blast marker. Oh no, that's your flamer template in the books at the bottom.
Yeah.
That's your small blast. That's what we're looking for. And I think you were like, oh, I want to do this properly. I'm like, well, let's just do it. And you kill everything except Omega. Except Omega, basically. So you kill the Primus Medicae here, another Cataphractic Terminator. I think that leaves me with 1.
Yeah.
And then we're trying to look. You're like, no way does he have an invul? And I'm like, I don't think I've taken an Iron Halo because I spent too many points on the plasma pistols.
Oh, the Primus Medicae, yeah. We weren't sure if you'd actually upgraded him with anything useful.
Yeah, I think we were checking what the base items he starts with were.
Hoping for something that would save him, because his 2+ save and feel no pain is useless.
And yeah, Jono's like, no, yeah, you take an Iron Halo with him. I'm like, yeah, but I haven't. Oh no, is it Iron Halo? Or is it something else you can take?
Maybe the refractor field?
Refractor field, that's it, yeah. Nope. And so, yeah, we've gone back to the list. Good old Battle Scribe not printing everything out properly. It was funny entry because he's a HQ.
See, now if you just got rid of one plasma pistol, you could have bought him a refractor field and spent 5 points on something else.
I think
something more useful than a plasma pistol.
Yeah, a rejig of the list is required. Absolutely.
I mean, it's a cool unit, but it's just overkill. And 150 points. Oh.
I love the Fire Drakes too. I think that's like a little bit more thematic. Always.
Yeah, I don't know. Like, it's a trader unit. You can really take anything. From a thematic perspective, you infiltrate everything. It's not going to matter too much. I do like the paint job you've done on them, though, with the Salamander's paint sort of chipping away or washing away.
Yeah.
And from a competitive standpoint, it's hard to say. Probably the Fire Drakes are better.
I think they're more survivable, the Fire Drakes, and although the AP2 axes, aren't they? The axes the Caesarians have.
Yeah, the Caesarians will do a fair bit of damage to anything they collide with, but it's making sure they get to combat and making sure they survive when they're there, which is fine if you take 9 and then put in a Primus Medicae.
That Coils of the Hydra is really like just a fantastic rule for the Alpha Legion, really flexible for them, and it's sort of a nice thing for people who like to have nice shiny toys and stuff.
And I think that's interesting because I can't think of a Legion Rite of War that doesn't work really well with the Legion. They all seem to be really, really useful, or at least one of them is really useful. The other one might be slightly less useful, but they're all quite good.
And I like some of the benefits that you get from some of the Rite of Wars, but there's also the negatives that you have to take with it. Like some of the ones that say, oh yeah, all your units have to travel in this, but then you can't deep strike at all.
Yeah, or say the drop pod one where if it can't be in a drop pod, can't deep strike, you're not getting it in the list.
Yeah. A few of the others where it's like you can't have more, you can only have one heavy unit, or you can't have more vehicles than you do have tacticals. I think that the Pride of the Legion's one of my favourite. I think I like the Veterans and Terminators. We had a bit of a problem here because of the sloping ramp in that building. They kept sliding down the tacticals.
Your 10-man tactical squad.
Yeah.
And I think I'm going to start dropping Basilisk shells onto them at the moment. casually moving the terrain to put your land raider there.
Yeah, that's a problem when you use that compressed foam and you don't. I haven't put MDF boards underneath it. They're so light, so
And it just slides over
you
those
pump
maps.
it, yeah, and it slides.
Yeah.
Even those buildings are made out of foam card, and they're very light as well, but super sturdy. So I think just working out the line for the Raptors, good save, nearly dropped the Fire Raptor there.
I think there's a fair few good saves coming up because those Fire Raptors are about to be placed in a very awkward position.
Yeah.
And they're going to fail to do anything of note.
Yeah. Well, anything that impacted the outcome of the game at that point. That's why I thought maybe I should have flown them straight and then supported the Land Raider down that flank. And
yeah, I think you're just trying to make sure you don't lose that building at the moment.
Yeah.
And if you can kill the Relax or the Basilisks, and you'll probably be fine.
Well, I thought, yeah, if I could take out your last troops units there, and then when your other Thalex unit dropped in, I don't mind dropping down to hover so that I could finish them off, because then you would have had to just shell the crap out of both buildings. You wouldn't have actually had any units that could move up and take them out. But I failed to deal with that Thalex unit that was already deep struck into the building next to my tacticals.
Yeah.
And it's at that point that I started realizing, the only way I could drag this out for a draw is if I hold more buildings than you. Because would they be objective secured?
Well, you don't have objective secured in 30k, but scoring and denial, all of my units are scoring, and only the tactical ones you took were scoring.
Yeah.
Well, and I suppose the Terminators, but they're dead now.
Yeah. Well, there's one alive. Just.
So I think at the moment, this is Alfarius. So this is Omegon.
Yeah.
Charging in and murdering my third troop choice, which is another 19-man blob of toughness 4 militia.
And picked off your
he's done a lot of damage.
Yeah, that's right. And I think you chose.
And I think. I chose to run away.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think I think he's like, oh no, you're sweeping advance and kill them, they're gone. And then we realised later that there was still one.
You can. Yeah, if there was one Terminator still alive, you wouldn't have been able to sweeping advance.
Yeah.
So I would then have been able to shoot you with that unit, and I would have had another scoring troop.
But you can choose to run away anyway, can't you? Or you can choose to fail a leadership, so you run away.
I don't think I can choose to. Unless I'm against a vehicle that I can't hurt.
Yeah. That's me picking up a couple of prizes for second place in the painted competition. Usa.
It's a travesty. Half the army wasn't painted.
Oh, stop it. They got the Land Raiders got 3 colours on them. I haven't worn them like the rest of the army.
You haven't even got turrets on them. There's gaping holes in both of them.
Well, that's because I didn't have any points left to pay because of the plasma pistols.
We did all the plasma pistols.
So I think we're realising at this point,
we're working out who can actually win at this point.
And I've resided to the fact, although I hold that building, that your Thalax are just going to destroy the tacticals that are in there. That Strength 7 just bones them. Is that Strength 7 in combat they have?
Strength 7 rending.
Rending, yeah. And did you hear? Oh no, that was something John O did. Do you have something that you can minus toughness off your opponents as well with mech?
Yeah, so the in this list only the Magos has it, but he walks around with a -1 toughness aura.
Yeah, that's right. That's what happened with the Caesarians, wasn't it? Because you reduced them to tough 3.
Yeah, the biggest advantage is it lets me insta-kill toughness 4 characters at initiative 4 and toughness 6 models at initiative 1.
Yeah. I think Omegon's doing a lot of damage here in combat. And you're removing models left, right, and centre here.
You did a good job.
I don't think you.
I think you might have bolted me first as well.
Yeah, yeah. I don't think you could have timed your deep striking of your Thalax in your turn for any better though, because they just came on.
It was pretty handy because it meant I got to put them right there, where if I'd put them there turn 3, I'd probably have been shot off the board.
Don't even notice the 2 kids crawling around on the floor there.
It's a fun, friendly atmosphere.
Yes, absolutely. Oh, and there's the objective markers that Nathan did up for everyone for the assault on Ares 9. It's sort of a tradition thing we've started at the lodge about 18 months ago, where we try and make up a gift or get something organised for people competing in the event. We've done all blast markers and terrain pieces and bits and bobs. So I think most people who play in most of our events would have, half a tub of terrain pieces now. It's one of those sort of things that are left out of the hobby often. The mats just, for me, really help with the immersion of the game and the realism. And then, nice terrain as well. You always bring a really nice mat and terrain. Actually, you can see your personal trainer in the top left-hand corner there that you brought in for the event.
Oh, yeah, my ruined cobblestone city.
Yeah. It's quite
cool.
So
I think was being fought over by some Night Lords and Death Guard at the moment.
Yes. I think Ethan's a bit hooked on 30k. I think I'm just fighting to survive here. Alfarius is losing.
Yeah, I think we were just rolling to see if I could kill him with my barrage weapons, and I think he finishes on 1 wound this round.
I think let him be removed. And I think we're discussing that. Yeah, we know Alfarius is gone. The tacticals just had to move into combat, basically.
Well, I think I was about to charge, and we just called it. With that Thalaxian at the top.
And I think, there's just too much shooting. But I think there's a couple of things, if I played a little bit differently, I think it could have made it a bit tighter. But I didn't feel like it was overwhelming at any stage through that game. I think it was quite interesting.
No, it was very very, very close, and it could easily have gone the other way. It pretty much just came down to when my Thalax arrived.
Yeah, absolutely. So another really good game. Thanks very much, Sam, for joining us tonight. That's 2 bat wraps we've smashed out tonight. 2,500 points Alpha Legion versus Admech and Militia. Who do you think the hero, the real hero for your game was?
I think it's going to be the militia squad that ran away so that I could artillery strike a 10-man Suzerain blob.
Most expensive Suzerains ever. Just, yeah.
Yeah. It was a fun game. It had some really entertaining moments.
Yeah, I'm keen to take it on again. A little bit of a rejig on the list, maybe push it out to 3k. Although I know once you push your points out on the Admech, they get even more nasty, don't they?
Yeah, well, let's just go to 5k. I'll bring a super heavy. It'll be fine.
So we have Medusa, Double Fire, Raptors. Yeah, sounds good. Well, thanks very much, Sam. Thanks everybody for watching, and make sure you hit like and subscribe if you like the videos. This is something we want to keep doing at the Warrior Lodge. Everyone's been asking to do bat wraps from club days for a while. We're finally set up to do it, and we just hope everyone's enjoyed watching.
And for those guys who are in Southeast Queensland, by all means, come by, line up a game if you like, and we'll go from there.
Yeah, you're pretty much guaranteed to turn up on any club day. If you bring 30k, you will get games, basically. Everyone's pretty #hard for heresy at the moment. And I think one of the next events, it's going to be fully painted. I think we'll have to get back to Nathan on the ongoing campaigns. But thanks very much for watching, everyone. Thanks again, Sam, and we'll see you guys soon at the Warrior Lodge.
Always a pleasure. Night, guys.